Monique, Mead, LaDuke, and Lynette, Garlan, welcome. The Edgewood Symphony Orchestra, Perfect Pitch, a celebration of music and sports. It's May 3rd, 4 o'clock at Carnegie Music Hall. Sounds absolutely great. This is going to be a very special concert. Where did this idea begin? How did it start?
I've been kicking this around with Walter Morales for a while. I used to do these concerts in Germany. In fact, I started my whole audience. Oh, you're just bugging me, man. You're just.
Lance LaDuke is already misbehaving.
You're
were
welcome.
saying you started in Germany.
Okay. When I was a student really fresh out of music school, my thoughts were, how can I get young people to love classical music? I was in Germany at the time and had a commission there from a city that said, look, we've never had children's concerts here. Can you do something? And I looked around that town. I saw white and blue flags waving everywhere. And as it turned out, they had a very famous soccer team called Schalke 04 in that town. And I thought, there you go. If they're so passionate about soccer, I can definitely find some connections to music. So let me put a couple soccer players on stage and we'll pack the hall. And they might actually like the music as well. And now, 17 years later, I'm still doing concerts there, and they're packed, and we don't have soccer players on stage. So I thought maybe, in a sports town like this, it would be a great opportunity to rally the folks, make it a big celebration of sports and music, and that's what we're doing.
So who do we have, a Pirate or a Steeler or a Penguin? Who's going to be on stage?
Charlie Batch is going to join us for a brief interview with Monique, and then he'll, hopefully he's going to conduct the Pennsylvania Polka for us as well.
Wow, sounds like fun. Does Charlie have an interest in music?
Well, he has an interest in the community for sure. He's, so invested in the community's youth. And we were thrilled when he said, yes, he would love to be on our show. So we're really excited about that.
Now, tell me a little more specifically, how will you use him in this concert?
Well, Monique has a vast knowledge of professional football, American football, and so I'm sure it's going to be an in-depth interview covering all of the ins and outs of being a quarterback in the NFL.
Sure,
right?
Yeah. At least, listen, one thing I can do is talk to him about the correlations between music and sports. And truly, leading an orchestra, which he will be doing when he's conducting the orchestra, is probably very much like leading a sports team from the quarterback position, being able to, without words, really indicate and show what you want to do. Was that any good, Lance?
Do you know what's the quarterback do, Monique?
He throws the ball.
Perfect.
He throws the ball.
He throws the ball or hands it off to one of the other guys.
Okay.
No, not everybody. Not everyone's supposed to.
Okay, all right.
If
But
things
he's
go
the
well, there's one guy throwing the ball.
He's the one
two.
who's partying in the end zone, right?
No, that's not the guy
No.
partying in the end zone. Occasionally, but usually that's a wide receiver.
And what will Charlie Batch conduct? What
The
music is
Pennsylvania
conducted?
Polka.
The Pennsylvania Polka.
That's right.
Tell me what else is on the show. What other music have you got planned?
All right.
Bugler's Holiday.
Okay.
That
We
Leroy
do have the
Anderson.
Bugler's Holiday. We have a couple of pieces that are going to be directly visually sports related. So the Bugler's Holiday, I went to a Penguins game and I was thrilled. I couldn't believe how fast it was, but I couldn't figure out why these guys were always like exiting. I mean, they just got started. Now they're already off, the ice, and new people are coming on. So I was explained to that they wear themselves out, and they got to get some fresh people out there. On a trumpet concerto like Bugler's Holiday, I would think that those trumpet players would get a little tired. So we decided to do the same things. We've got 3 trumpets up playing. We got the other trumpets in the penalty box, and they're going to be switching out sort of every phrase. People are going to be waving their terrible towels, letting them know when's the right time to come in and out. So that's happening. Another one that has a direct sports connection is the Flight of the Bumblebee. That's going to be a xylophone solo on that. And as you know, that Flight of the Bumblebee never stops. That is a perpetual motion. Perpetual motion. Something that sports players know a lot about. So we thought we'd bring a soccer player on stage who is going to juggle the ball on knees, feet, head during that. And we're going to see who drops the ball, who drops the notes. It's going to be a competition.
Will you be using your violin?
I will be using my violin. In fact, I'm coming up on the Sarasate Navarra, and I'll be playing against one of the finest little violin rookies in town. It's called William Wang. And it's a delightful piece where you're not sure if the violins are playing with each other or against each other. And so I'll be competing against my own student, William, on that piece. He's 13 years old.
That sounds like fun. And Lance will be providing play-by-play.
That's right. Before the concert, we'll have pregame coverage of the today's lineup, and we'll be meeting some of the players, talking about any sort of recent injuries or trades that may have happened in the off season, and just sort of setting the stage for what we'll be hearing.
Now, the Star Wars music is in the program too. Lance, you must be a veteran of many performances of Star Wars.
I have played Star Wars a number of times since high school. In fact, you ready for a piece of trivia? One of the reasons I started on the trumpet, and one of the reasons was because I was a huge Star Wars fan, and the trumpet theme in there, I thought, well, that was kind of cool. So that was partly responsible for me being a musician. So you can blame John Williams.
Okay.
Well, you never go wrong with Star Wars on the program, it seems
But
to me.
on that theme, there's a reason behind this, because after I had that first concert in Germany with one sports team, then I got a call from, Bayern München, which is like the big German, sports, the soccer team in Munich. And so I did a whole series for the World Cup with them around Germany. But I was in a cab heading to their stadium, and I just asked the cab driver, I just don't get it. The sports attract so many thousands of millions of people, and what is it about that? And he says, it goes back to our early beginnings, where people had to fight against each other in early wars and fighting against the lions and whatever for food. And he says it just goes back to what our human nature, this sort of good versus evil. And so that truly is why Star Wars is on there, because it is that, good versus evil in a faraway galaxy idea.
Casey at the Bat is directly baseball related, and you have Casey at the Bat on the program.
That's right. Casey at the Bat is one of my favorite stories, and there's been a number of whose arrangement is this one? Is this a new version of it?
Yeah.
Casey at the Bat always bothers me because it ends sadly.
It is. It does end
Casey
sadly.
strikes out.
It's a surprise, but there's that great Disney cartoon version of it, and I've always really enjoyed it.
No question.
And it's one of the members of the orchestra is actually doing the narration, who's just a fantastic narrator, and it's a great retelling of the story.
All this and some Vivaldi, too? You've got a Vivaldi bit here as well?
We do. I mean, think about it. Vivaldi was the one who put together this all-girls team, right? He was a priest, violinist. He was teaching at an orphanage, and he turned these girls into these superstar players, and people from all over Europe came to Venice to hear them play because they were doing all kinds of new and innovative things on the instruments. So that's what we're doing. My daughter, Isabel, is playing the harp on that, and it'll be her Pittsburgh solo debut on the harp. And then we have an all-girls team playing in the orchestra, and they're girls from the Tripo Youth Orchestra.
What fun. Now, how did you get the other ensembles involved? Because there are several extra groups coming in for this concert, are there not?
There are. If we're going to celebrate sports and music, we're celebrating Pittsburgh. This is a community orchestra, and I thought it should just be a community event, getting as many community people on stage as possible. And so, truly, if you're bringing families in with children, they want to see some young people on stage, just a little bit older than them, who are playing really, really well. And we have that in Pittsburgh. So between the Pittsburgh Youth Orchestra coming in with brass players, the Tripo Orchestra coming in with strings, and then from CMU Prep School, the soloists being, Isabel and Tino Cardenas and William Wang, what
the
can go wrong?
Environmental Charter School, too?
They're there, and Sacred Heart School Band is going to be on the front steps. So, it's going to be a party.
Don't miss it. And you're going to have pre-concert activities going on in front. You've done that with the Carnegie Mellon concerts with great success. This is something you're heavily involved in at CMU. Extra things around the concert itself. What will you be doing for Edgewood?
Our CMU team has taken it, and they do some very nice, interesting things before the concerts. I have gotten them on board, and they're going to be the ones throwing that tailgate party before and after. There are games. The game Cornhole, where you throw it into a bucket. We're doing that, but it's going to be musical. So if they get it in, then there's going to be somebody on the bassoon, playing a sports-related theme. We have musical chairs going on. So it'll be, those beautiful pillars they have. There are going to be seats around there. We're going to have live musical chairs, probably with a Pennsylvania Polka, with kids doing that. We'll have one of our features, and that is the Conduct Us Orchestra. So it's probably going to be a string quartet that, kids can get up and conduct. Prizes to win, fun things like that.
I have a terrible and tragic memory of musical chairs from my childhood in
Oh,
which
no.
the person who wound up without a chair cried when it was all over. He was so traumatically damaged by not having a chair when it was all done.
I've thought about that because I was that kid once. So we give them, when they're out, we give them a percussion instrument and they get to actually perform, musically. They get to,
Great.
contribute that way.
And how will Lynette Garlan be involved in this show? Come on over, Lynette. It's your turn. Get closer. Why don't you just
I'll switch.
Squeeze in? All right.
Well, Jim, I've played with the Edgewood Symphony since 1992. I play in the violin section, and I'll be doing that, and also the accordion.
So we will hear you on accordion?
Yes,
I didn't know that you played the accordion.
I do.
It has a bad reputation, that instrument.
I'm not sure why. I mean, there is one in everybody's attic, right?
Manfred Honeck was here yesterday. He said he was forced to play the zither as a child, so it has a kind of a bad reputation. Yet the zither is a beautiful instrument. I think a similar thing happens with the accordion. Young people who are, or maybe this is something of a generation or two ago, that young people who were encouraged strenuously to play the accordion then developed a distaste for it.
Well, I think it is a generation thing, because when I was a kid, my mother did get me an accordion when I was 5. And I think a lot of kids had to play the accordion when they were young. And then there was a long period of time where that wasn't true. People did maybe piano or they did Suzuki violin. But actually the accordion has been around all this time, and it's making a comeback. So, and I think it's a great instrument.
And it will be coming back in the Pennsylvania Polka.
That's correct, Jim.
That's the only accordion solo that we'll hear?
I believe it
I'm
is
sorry
at
to
the
hear that.
moment.
All right, good. Have you heard Lynette play the accordion yet, Lance LaDuke?
Yeah, actually, we did a Bach, Beethoven, and brunch a couple of summers ago. I got to sit in with the group she was playing with and got to hear her playing. She's fantastic, and there's a whole variety of. I could talk about accordions forever. I don't play, but they're just fascinating to me. And you have a variety of them, right?
I do own about 12.
12.
See, you have a problem. That's like they have a group for you somewhere. Hi, I'm Lynette, and I play the accordion.
But I don't play all 12 at once.
At once, yeah, that's true.
As a veteran of this ensemble, Lynette, what is the pleasure and joy of the Edgewood Symphony Orchestra for you?
Well, I think it's a really creative group. It's a great way to play music together. And this group has also have really fun ideas about doing things differently, like this concert. And I think that's a great benefit to the community.
I'll look forward to hearing all of your roles as both violinist and accordion virtuoso there. Last words, what have we not yet covered about this amazing multifaceted program?
To me, on a personal note, it's significant because it's the first time that the whole Cardenas team is performing on a concert. It is our U.S. family debut. Andres is going to be conducting both Isabel's harp concerto, and Tino is premiering on his Haydn piano concerto. And first time we're all on stage together, so we're really excited about that.
I would think so. That sounds absolutely great. Lance, anything else you'd like to add here?
I'm just delighted to be a part of this. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, both before, during, and after the concert. So it should be a great time for the entire family.